Hello, I'm Mark Peikert, host of Work in Blue, and you are tuned into another episode of the YouTube series that gets to know the man behind the porn performer. And this week we have Jordan Starr, who is one of many men who are turning Cleveland into the sexiest city in America. I'm going to say it. It's more like the fuck eye state, which is a joke I've already made to Jordan, but I'm making it again because I'm that proud of it. Let's bring him on now. Jordan Starr. Jordan Starr, hello.
Hello there.
I was so excited when you said yes because I do all of my scouting via Instagram because I like a little mystery with my hunks. So Twitter is a little too in your face for me, but especially when I'm on the subway. But Instagram, your Instagram is prime stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
So welcome to Work in Blue. You're coming to us from beautiful Cleveland.
Sure, we'll go with that. Cleveland, yes. Beautiful. It's raining right now, so.
But the rain can be beautiful too. It's like, what does Blanche Devereaux say on The Golden Girls? The rain reminds me of my first kiss. Oh, your first kiss was in a shower? Was it in the rain? No, it was in the shower. And I'm going to edit that out because I really fucked up that punchline. You get the gist.
I get it. I love Golden Girls.
So how are things going? Because I feel like in the last few months, you've really become a presence on the scene between OnlyFans, fan platform stuff in general, and more studio work.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad to know that I'm being noticed and it's, not all going to waste. But yeah, things are going well. More of my stuff seems to be coming out, which helps fuel my Twitter, and everything just kind of trickles down from there. So, but yeah, I'm loving it. Traveling a lot. Hoping to get a little R&R at home before my next adventure. Now that the weather is broke, and yeah.
So when you got into the industry, the sex is obvious. Like you have to be already comfortable with that to even want to pursue it. Were you prepared for everything else that came with it? Being your own marketing person, being your own editor, doing social media, about like marketing it on social media?
Yeah, well, I can honestly say that, I wouldn't be able to do it by myself. That seems to be a team is great. So I have a husband that helps me out with a bunch of different aspects of the business. But really, like, that was my background before. I went to school for business, just have that background, been doing real estate for a long time. So already knew how to do the marketing and running your own business aspect of the things. It was just switching gears and marketing a different, genre, I guess.
So what now is your focus on? How do you divide your focus between the adult stuff and your more mainstream business ventures?
So my husband and I do most of our business in real estate in a certain chunk of the year, and that tends to be when the weather is warmer here. So it tends to be a very good balance because we can do most things remotely now with like electronic signatures and just sending showings online with virtual tours. And but I mean, we can also usually hire out the things that we need boots on the ground for. So if we're out traveling for shoots and content, then we can still run our business back home. So it's an easy balance, and just being able to be mobile helps a lot. So
yeah, for you, what was the tipping point where porn went from something that you thought about doing to something that you jumped fully into?
Well, so Rona kind of fueled the fire, I think, for a lot of people, and I got caught up in that too. So it was like we had coronavirus, and it was the rise of OnlyFans. So it was about 50% of my business is dealing with in foreclosures, and the pandemic kind of put a stop to that. So, I mean, the banks weren't pursuing evicting people during a pandemic. So a lot of my business, just kind of went away with that. So it started out as a joke. I was uh, long-haired, scrawny, twinky-looking guy from, good old Midwestern Ohio, that had a glow up and discovered the gym and, started getting some attention, and I learned that I liked it. So, it just became the running joke that I guess I was going to have to start an OnlyFans, and made what I thought was a mistake at first. Made the comment in front of my mom, of all people. And she goes, well, you might as well, you were always showing it to everybody. I was getting calls from the school when you were there. You were just showing it to anybody that would look at it and all this fun stuff. And from what I hear, not much has changed. So, might as well make some money off of it.
Once you have mother's seal of approval, it's a done deal.
Yeah, it was. But then, we just kind of ran through and made sure that we were good on all levels. License for real estate license for real estate comes from the state. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to be in any kind of trouble with that. And just, any barrier that could be thrown up, we kind of found a way around it, or it wasn't an issue. And here we are.
So let's go back to you showing off your dick to anyone who would look at it.
No, why?
What, as someone who is not a naked person, like I wear jeans at home, what prompted the beginning of this phase that is still ongoing?
I guess I just discovered it was big.
Which is my follow-up question. When does one discover that one has a big dick?
Well, I mean, growing up in certain situations, I guess you would just come across things, friends stay the night and you're changing, or you're in the locker room changing for gym, and you just start to notice things. And so that kind of fueled it. And then, I don't know, the story goes on from there.
And all roads lead to porn.
Fair.
Really? So when did you start getting attention from studios, from fan platforms?
So I don't know, like, it was kind of through my workout journey. There's this great thing called Snapchat, and things don't last there. It's like a 24-hour, story. So if you didn't really like the photo, it went away after 24 hours, kind of thing. So I just kind of started showing off after working out, and got a lot of attention, built up my Snapchat following first. And then, that was how I started rolling people into my OnlyFans and like subscribing for that. But really, I mean, just as I was starting to get my site off the ground, I was fortunate enough to be booked by Falcon, with Steve Cruz as the director, for my very first studio scene. And it's like once you have something come out, people kind of realize that you're like, okay, you're serious. Because just starting out, you can message all these people and they're like, who is this 2,000, 5,000 person follower person messaging me? Are they real? Because when you post things on OnlyFans, you have to make sure, you have to go through a lot to actually get the consent from the people to put on there. So generally you're sticking with other creators when you create content, because it's just easier that way. So, you have to kind of vet through a process. But are you familiar with Chi Chi LaRue?
Of course.
Okay, so that was my husband had a connection with her from like his bar scene days, doing all that fun stuff. So that was how I got in there, and I haven't had the opportunity to work with Chi Chi directly, but she was able to put me in front of Steve Cruz, so I was still able to get booked. But she also helped name me as well. So I was fortunate enough to just have a leg up and have a connection.
So was it a big shock when you went from fan platform to studio when you showed up on set the first day?
Absolutely. And that was kind of like, you can't ever really prepare for it. It's kind of one of those things that you need to experience in order to know what to expect. But it's like, once you do and you realize that the studio set is that it's a set versus normally I'm filming in like my hotel room or something like that. There's usually more than one, just the camera person on set, which was a new experience. Depending on the production, it could be anywhere from like 2 to 5 people behind the camera. So that was something that I had to get over. But like, once you experience that and you learn how to adjust, it's, I don't know, it's kind of just, I'm more comfortable with it now.
Is there a difference in what you prefer to do for studio versus fan platform?
In when? Is that what the
And
question?
what?
Oh, and what I like to do? I like to get a good mix, really. I feel that this, like, studios and creators kind of need each other. There's a relationship there that, whether it's like spoken or not, we all kind of help each other out because we're in this together. There's this whole industry, and there's stigmas that come along with that I feel like everybody is working to overcome, as a whole. But I think that I help promote my scenes, the people that I work with, as they help promote me for working for them. So it's kind of beneficial on both sides for me.
Yeah.
Does that
That's
make
the
sense?
best marketing tool you could ask for.
Right. So people can get the studio stuff, they know where to find me, but then I feel like I can give more of like the personal side, through my own platform.
And what are you looking for in partners for fan platform content?
Honestly, it's just, I feel like OnlyFans is inviting people into my sex life. So it's really just, I'm looking for situations and creators that I would want to hook up with, whether it be from a bar or Grinder or something. I mean, that's basically it. It's like I'm just filming my sex life and
I
sharing it
mean,
with you.
you and I have the same taste because you had a scene with Miguel Ray, who is one
Yeah.
of my favorite Instagram hunks.
He is very yummy.
That body's insane. That tiny waist and it's too much. It's too much.
No, it's perfect. And I think that we had some really good chemistry, which is something else that I feel is really important in filming content. People can tell when you're faking it if you're just putting on the smile and just going through the motions. And people like the amateur stuff because of the passion and the chemistry that could be in it, versus just the studio stuff.
Well, especially, I mean, so many times with studio content, you don't have a say in your partner.
Right.
So you just have to cross your fingers and hope
You
that
can
it.
always say no, but yeah, you can tell them who you want to work with, and then they may put you in a scene with them. But why wait for a studio to book me with somebody when I can just do it myself?
Yeah.
Breaking through DMs is the problem that I have. So, um, actually getting in contact with the people is the most challenging part.
I mean, I'm always shocked when any Instagram DM goes through, and I'm verified. I have a blue check mark on Twitter.
I need to get that.
And it's still, I had to blackmail someone at Instagram into doing it, which is a whole other story. But I got it, and that's all that matters. So people who have watched this before know that I'm obsessed with this. When you showed up on set for your first studio porn, what was the photo process like?
The photo process? You mean just like
the sexy stills with your smile and your boner?
Oh yeah. To be honest, I feel like that is probably one of my least favorite things about studio work is the sex stills. If
it's
the
crazy.
Huh?
They're crazy.
They can be, yeah. But the best thing for me is if the sex stills can come from like the actual scene itself. I think the biggest issue that I find is when you do the sex stills, you have to make sure that you hit those positions. And I mean, they'll go through like everything that we'll do throughout the whole scene and kind of, take photos of each stage of that. So sometimes they don't let you add in extra things. Sometimes you don't end up wanting to, I don't know, you want to change out a position or something, and they'll be like, but we did the photos. So it just kind of makes it more of a rigid structure. But yeah, there's a specific camera, and I'm not like a professional on cameras. I don't know, but it's called like a mirrorless camera. It doesn't make the shutter sound when it's taking the photo. So that has probably been one of like the best things for studio work, like is people that use those.
Yeah, because it takes a huge burden off of all of you.
Right. And then they become, I feel like the pictures are hotter then. Like they're not posed.
I mean, there's nothing worse than getting the announcement of a new exclusive, and you have the full body shot with the dick sticking up and like the rictus grin because he's posing and like flexing, and there's a lot of muscle tension happening.
Flexing the muscles, but you're flexing your dick and you're holding your breath and you're smiling. I mean, it's all there. It's great.
But it must be such a relief after doing studio porn to get to do basically improv sex for a fan platform.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like we try to make sure that we provide a good quality. So, we still set up some lights and we have some tools and cameras that we like to use. The best one has been like, do you know what a gimbal is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for the phone, and, because that's all we use. We use 2, of the latest iPhones for cameras because the camera quality is all we need. Doesn't need to be anything super expensive. And then one of them goes on a gimbal and one is stationary. I'm fortunate enough to have a cameraman. But like I said, we just like to provide a good quality product while still adhering to, the inviting somebody in. It's not, overproduced. It's real. So,
yeah. And then my final favorite question. Upon completion of a bottoming scene, after having not eaten all day, what is your go-to meal?
So I like to be pretty regimented with my food, and to the point
I
where
knew you were going to say that.
Started meal prepping on trips. So I don't starve myself. However, my favorite thing is the shower attachment because it's really nice to just kind of go in and do a double check right before. So
yeah.
But yes, I mean, I try not to eat like on set just because I don't want to feel bloated, but it's not because I'm worried about bottoming. I'm usually pretty good with that. But it's like that after my motivation for finishing is food. It's like by the time that I've fucked, I've come, I'm, probably done burned a lot of calories. I just want to replenish. So everybody makes fun of me. Actually, I'm getting a laugh back here. Sorry. We could be having like a group scene going on and everybody's still going and I'm off like standing in the doorway eating a bag of chips or something while I'm watching everybody else fuck. So
I'm just picturing all of those very hungry men still fucking and you're just crunching quietly away in a corner.
Yeah.
Jordan Starr, that is all the time that we have today. Thank you so much for joining me. And absolutely. I'm super excited to see how your career progresses from here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It has been a pleasure, and we'll have to do it again and see where I end up.
Oh, I cannot wait to see. I mean, there are a few different positions you're going to end up in no matter what.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see the journey to those positions. All right. Thank you, Jordan. Thank all of you for watching and tune in next week for another episode of Work in Blue.